laugh and drink and say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile.
Whoa! All right, welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I'm your host, Coach V, and I'm with my co-host who was looking ever so dreamily into the camera at the beginning, Dr. Dry. What the fuck up, Dr. Dry?
What's up, big player? How are you doing tonight, Coach V?
I'm doing well. I am 4-0 this past week, and
Oh, big man.
one of those ones and O's was against you. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's fantasy playoff time. Some people are already in playoff mode because their teams just like it's must-win situations.
Yep.
And I'm very much in that mode in a few leagues, and so it's been nice. So outside of being depressed, losing to me by a lot.
Yeah, I was the second highest scoring team in the league this week. I'm the first highest scoring team overall in that league, but I'm in eighth. So whatever. Best 5-win team I've ever seen in my life. But we are not going to the playoffs. So anyway, congratulations on the big win.
Thanks.
You know, put up 175. Just
That's fair.
whipwalling and booling on them. You were out of control. Just started booling on them. So anyway, got my beehole bulled on, and that was a tough one. So anyway, yeah, that team, it's one of those where I'm not even disappointed in them. We just happened to go against someone balling out at the time. So do me a favor, make the playoffs, and don't win in vain, and don't finish in seventh, and then go win that shit. So for the FQF nation. So anyway, yeah, lost to you by a big amount. I lost in another league. I was trying to basically lock into a bye, and I thought I had in the bag. I had Calvin Ridley and Anus McManus going. McManus missed a kick. That was -1 points. Calvin Ridley really BF'd me on the last play. So I needed one more catch, maybe like 5 yards, and the guy runs backwards.
Oh.
So he got like -6 on that last catch, and that was enough to bring me down about, half a point less than I needed to tie. So that sucked. But my dominant team was counted out. We were down 25. I still had Jamar Chase. I was like, look, I know he's got Jake Browning, but it's Jamar Chase, I believe, 31 points, and we are securing the first overall seed in that one. Work league, that one was kind of a no win, no lose for everyone that week. And then RLQ, who cares? So, eliminated in that one. So kind of an up and down year. I ended up not being that great at fantasy this year, but that's all right. We do got 2 really good teams still going. So, or 3 teams still going. So that's good.
Yeah. So I think right off the top, we just got to get it out of the way because we're really upset. Our child, our son, he's gone to be with the ancestors. Our boy Tank Dell is hurt, season-ending injury, and so maybe in honor of Tank, we play the Dell Yeah drop one last time. Who knows? We may not get to play it again this year. So, everyone, just a moment of silence. And, here you go.
Can I get a Dell Yeah, brother?
So sweet.
Thank you for all you've done, Tank Dell. Everyone light your candle.
Light your candle, everyone.
In memory of Tank Dell's amazing season, we light these memorial candles. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Amen and a woman.
I can't help it.
Can I get a Dell Yeah, brother?
I knew we'd have one more. That's great. So anyway, yeah, it was maddening to see that happen. And it was on a running play. He was blocking. Why the hell was he in there? Why would you do that? even Peepaw Mitch getting in here, showing some respect, got the praise hands going.
Maybe people
Man,
on Mitch can make us feel better about it because it's just so upsetting. He was our child.
yeah, he was the man. Yeah, maybe he has some wise words of wisdom from all his years on this earth that he can share with us. And anyway, I'm not sure if Peepaw Mitch had himself a few shares of the tank, but or if you scooped them all up. But I know he is either just a huge fan or he had shares of him and lost a family member himself. So
Yeah, yeah,
anyway, thanks for showing up, Peepaw. We
right.
love it. All one of you out here tonight. So
All
FQF
people.
Nation holding strong. Let's look popular. We'll keep that up there for a little bit. Um, so, anyway, yeah. So intros, strong week for Mister Coach V. Getting the 4-0, always great whenever you just walk into work on Monday feeling like or Tuesday knowing that like nobody can hurt you, nobody can bring your mood down.
Yeah,
You are the latest and greatest. So
latest and greatest.
yes, and
That's right. Yeah,
well, too
yeah.
soon, but
That
yeah.
was. Yeah, that was like ever since Tank became a thing. Basically, every week people would be like, "Who do I start?" And I would just be like, "Dude, just put them both in because it's only going to piss you off if you pick one. Like, just put them
Yeah.
both in."
Yeah, I
And
mean, and Nico been showing out. Nico Collins seems like the most random receiver too to be having such a like, oh yeah, I'll get you 170 to 200 yards every time out. Like it's crazy. I don't know, maybe it's CJ Stroud, but I don't know, maybe Nico Collins really is him, but definitely makes that decision a lot easier now that Tank Dell's either completely cut or you're keeping him on IR so maybe he can get a ring. I don't
oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, I did like. Who's the asshole that's dropping Tank Dell? Like, don't do that. Put him on your IR. Let him stay on your team.
If you got
Like,
the room on IR and you can spare it and you don't have anybody else hurt, let him try to get a ring. Don't cut the guy.
if
He
someone in
got
my
you there.
other leagues, like if anyone else in my other leagues drops him, I'm picking him up. Like I want him on the squad. He makes us all
Yes,
better when he's on the team.
he does. He's a baller. So, anyway, yeah, definitely makes that decision a bit easier. But, that's not the only thing we're disappointed in. So,
There's more.
uh, Vinny, what's this award called?
So the holiday Hillshire Farms Holiday Sauce Cheese and Cracker Gift Basket Disappointment Award, which I mean, really, like I feel like holiday work parties are either happening or are about to start happening, and work parties are where this gift drops. Someone drew your ass in a secret Santa. They don't know shit about you. It's like Ted in finance. You like saw Ted once, like, in the break room. Y'all know nothing about each other. You're getting one of these gift baskets. So, yeah. So, uh, solidarity. And so this is that player that you're upset with. You're not cutting this player. Like at the end of the day, you might find a home for that holiday cheese and sausage gift basket. You might be desperate one afternoon, and there's you haven't went grocery shopping, so you just slice off a piece of that nasty and eat it. So these are players that you're not cutting, but you are disappointed. And for me this week, it was the number one waiver wire priority this past week, Zach Moss. Uh,
Zach
who
Miss.
everyone like spent the rest of their fab on him. And like I said, you're not cutting him. He's going to do something before the fantasy season's over with. But he had a monster game against Tennessee last time he played, and just nah. And it wasn't like the Colts didn't go off. The Colts went off. That was like the most exciting game the Titans played all year. And where are you, Zach Moss? So he's my Hillshire boy. What about you?
More like Zach Ass. So I didn't break me off a piece of that Hillshire Farms. So I didn't have anybody lined up until you started talking about Zach Moss, and I finally thought of somebody. I don't own any shares of the guy, but Patrick Mahomes, let's just go for the top here, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has been such a disappointment, such a chode mongler,
Yeah.
and he's got to be held accountable. He can't just, you know, just keep skating by with his 8 to 12 point games. Like Patrick Mahomes, you're losing it for people. Some people spend their first round pick on the guy, like a late first or an early second. And we were one of the few places that said Jalen Hurts is the guy, not Patrick Mahomes. So we're smart. Who is that gentleman? Cousin Alex's friend that tuned in last week. He asked us Puka Nakua or Christian Kirk, and we went with Christian Kirk. So we do miss a lot, but we did hit on Jalen Hurts season long
Yeah.
better than Patrick Mahomes. So that's great. But Patrick Mahomes, he's just been, I don't know what it is. I really don't think it's him. I think his receiving core sucks.
Yeah.
I think, and we knew this like pretty early on. We pretty much cut every Kansas City receiver that we could. Rashee Rice, we still love him, but that's about it. I mean, Travis Kelsey's going to do his thing, but like it's just not enough. Like in today's NFL, I think, and they might run into this sort of problem where unless a receiver wants to take a pay cut and play with Patrick Mahomes, it might be hard for them to get talent at that position. Unless we've seen that they're not that great at drafting receivers. Rashee Rice has been pretty good, but other than that, they've missed on Sky Moore. They've missed on some other guys. They traded for Kadarius Toney, which I thought was going to be a lot better than it's been, but Kadarius Toney sucks. Like he's more like Cadaverous Toney. He's always disappearing. So I mean, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, you are on this list, and like I'd start Jordan Love over Patrick Mahomes. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, would I have the balls to do it in the moment? Who knows? But it would definitely be in consideration depending on matchup. So Patrick Mahomes in some weird uncharted territory.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is a use froggy voice when you eat old fruit salad kind of guy.
That's right, said Pete Carroll. I think that's who said that.
Yeah, it was. Use froggy voice when you eat. All right. Well, Patty Mahomes, suck it. And the guys on our next list, they can suck it even harder because if you're on this list, you've shit the bed. And when you shit the bed, I don't let you stay in my bed. You shit all over it. So players on this list, get out. Get out of my bedroom. Get out of my bed. Go clean yourself up. And maybe we'll talk because sometimes you can get back in the bed later on. So this week we have a nice grouping. We got a bunch of receivers, and we got Austin Eckler. So who do you claim on this list?
I'm responsible for putting Austin Eckler on here and Calvin Ridley for the third time. I think I've put Calvin Ridley on here every single time.
Yeah,
you might have
list 3 times.
Yeah, 3-time Sleep Number Shit the Board Bet Award winner Calvin Ridley.
You went back to him.
Yeah, he was actually our McNugget last week. So he's just so up and down, and I don't get it. It's like somebody on Reddit put it a really good way because I was like, anytime I get frustrated, I go to Reddit and I see what everybody else is thinking, and usually it's pretty consensus, and I'm like, all right, it's not just me in the world suffering from this. Yeah. So, Calvin Ridley, someone worded it like he had. So he runs all these routes, and it's like they forget they have him, and then they remember, oh shit, we have Calvin Ridley. Let's get him the ball. So they design a shitty route for him to run that sucks, and like they get it to him then, and then they forget that they have him again. Like whenever he's wide open down the field or something. So it's really weird. I don't know. They're definitely not utilizing him the right way. And what really pissed me off and was kind of the final straw with him was that last catch, and he went backwards, and that really, excuse my French, fucked me in the ass, and basically he just really screwed up, a good opportunity, And we just can't have that. So he effed me in the A for the last time, and get out of my bed because he also S'd in it. So get out of here, Calvin Ridley. Austin Eckler, 4.9 points this week. Awesome job. He so he's been just a Hillshire disappointment on steroids. I think we've been giving him a little bit of leeway just because of who he is, what he means to the fantasy community, how important he is, and how he put everybody on his team, like everybody on his back last year to a championship.
Yeah.
But this year, it's just not there, man. I think, I know I traded him in Dynasty for Jameer Gibbs, and it was, the 1.2, which was Jameer Gibbs in the rookie draft, and then what's his name? I ended up trading him for draft capital, Drake London, and I think I made the right bet because got younger at running back, and I thought I was getting rid of Eckler a year early, and I was a little worried about that. I got rid of him at the right time whenever he still had name value and before the season started and all that. So Austin Eckler, just I don't know, like you're definitely moving him to your bench. You're probably not cutting him just because of what you have invested in him, and that maybe he still does have that ceiling, but you're very scared to start him, and that's a weird feeling. So he's on there too. And then you have about 7 or 8 guys on here. What happened here?
So I was just looking at it and Sam Howell throws 0 touchdowns this past week, runs into, and it was like a smash matchup with Sam Howell where you're like, oh yeah, they're going to be
Yeah,
so behind. He likes
yeah.
to sling it, and just nothing came up of, and like this isn't even like personal. I haven't started any Washington receivers, like none. I cut Jahan Dotson a while back. Like I'm not even invested in any of these guys. But I was just looking at it, and it's like, you know what? Like I don't. I think the talent's there with these guys, but it's just no. There's no one coming through for you consistently every week. And I would imagine people who have Washington receivers are just frustrated. You don't know who it's going to be, if it's going to be anybody. Amongst the entire receiving core, there was only 2 games with 20 points in a PPR league. So we're talking, we're 13 weeks in, and only 2 times have guys scored 20 plus points. And so
That's a
that's
problem.
pathetic. Like, come on, guys. Like, someone rise to the top. And so, anyways, that's why the entire Washington receiving core, get out of my bed. It smells. I got to pull the sheets off and watch them. Don't mess with them. They're only going to make your playoffs frustrating. You're not going to know who to start. You're going to start the wrong one. Oh, pick up Curtis Samuel. This is the week. No, guess what? It's just a random 16-point week. Like, and you get nothing. Or, oh,
Yeah.
cool, Logan Thomas went off. Awesome. Like just you can't predict it. There's
Oh,
far more
huge,
people.
huge Deami Brown week.
Like, just let it go. Let it
Yeah.
go. Or big Sam Howell running for touchdowns week. Like, just God. So yeah,
It's
that they're on the list.
frustrating.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, you look through, and we've put Jahan Dotson on here in week 6. We've put Terry McLaurin on here in week 12, and both of those were probably honestly too late. So like, it was just they just weren't the standout. But I know Terry McLaurin, after getting on there week 12, he followed it up in week 13 with 0. So he against the Miami Dolphins, you don't expect Terry McLaurin to get 0.
right.
So that's like just really frustrating. Extra cheese, please, on that
Yeah.
Parmesan.
Okay, so our last award is a good award. So it's the McDonald's 11th McNug. So we got what? We got a 12 piece? No, yeah, we got a
Yeah,
12 piece. Like we don't count Arthur Smith. He's the anti.
yeah.
So we
That's
have
just a piece of shit that got in there with the nuggets.
you pissed off the guy in the drive-through, so he's shitting your nugs.
Right. So you just move that off to the side. And then look at these extra ones that we got. So we got 10 chicken McNuggets, and then we got a Jake Browning McNugget
Mm,
and a James Conner McNugget.
yeah.
So I nominated Jake Browning here. You're probably not starting, like, you probably didn't start him, but he only had 5 incompletions.
So,
As a Jamar Chase double dynasty owner, I was loving it just how they peppered him with those targets at the beginning. He had like 7 catches for 22 yards or something. But, that's almost 10 points. And they had the monster 76-yard touchdown. That was crazy. Um, Jake Browning, like, he proved he's a gamer. I mean, who were they against again? Oh, the Jags, which, that's a good team.
yeah.
Like, so, I mean, he can do that against them, like, depending on, like, as long as he's not against, like, a top three defense or something, they're getting the ball out quicker. And I think maybe he's a viable starting option for you the rest of the season. If you really need a quarterback, like, example, if you lost Trevor Lawrence last night to injury, Jake Browning, great pickup. There's probably not a lot on your waiver wire. You were probably looking at that a week ago and thinking, ew, disgusting. I'd never pick him up. But I think he really showed us something last night in one of the most exciting Monday night matchups we've had this year. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
I mean,
I do think so.
so,
As far as like the Jags go, I think they're probably going to be leaning more on Travis Etienne moving forward. CJ Beathard doesn't look terrific, so that's how I've always read that instead of Bethard. So yeah, I mean Jake Browning, he's my 11th McNug, balling in real life and in fantasy. I think he had a pretty good match as far as last night went. So he's my McNug.
yeah, I mean, if you throw almost 40 passes in an NFL game and you complete, 30 something of those 40 passes, like that's significant. Now, like if someone came out and they're like a Jake Browning type and they went 12 for 20, I just see, that means they're like trying to protect them, not letting them throw the ball
They're
too much.
hiding it, yeah.
But they were like, nah, we trust this guy to throw 37 passes, and then he goes out and completes 32 of them. And so yeah, I think he has some better skill than maybe people thought he did. So yeah, and like even like people just fans of football, maybe your Bengals have some hope going into the end of this thing. Do you really want to make the playoffs at this point? I don't think you do if you're a Bengals fan. Let's get a lower draft pick and hook up Joe B with something else to work with.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to win the Super Bowl with Jake Browning. I don't think so. Why make that makes no sense. I hate when people root for the playoffs. It's like if you know you can't win the Super Bowl, you don't want the playoffs. That only makes things worse for you.
That's kind of how I feel about one of my season long teams. We're 9-4, tied for first, but we have way less points. That we have like the eighth most points in the league. So kind of the opposite situation is what I have in Dynasty.
Yeah.
And I'm a two-time defending champ in that league, but this team is not it. Like we are trash. Like we've just gotten lucky. Our
Yeah.
points against is really low. We're gonna get dog walked in the playoffs. It's not gonna be easy. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I still want the chance to compete, but I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked at some point because I am gonna run across a good team on a good week. So yeah, I mean, I get it, even from a fantasy standpoint.
So my McNug is James Conner, and so the since the return of Kyler Murray, the Cardinals haven't really shown much of a run game, like to begin with.
Right.
And so, Connor may have been someone who went off on your bench this week. I hope not. I hope you just kept plugging away with him and got rewarded. But he had a great day. He went off, and he's one of those guys you like root for because he just like he's the guy. He they
Yeah.
tried to run the ball to the other people, and it was like, no, this isn't working. Like he's the only one who
Yeah.
put the ball there, and he's on a shit team, and he's still
Yeah.
up.
And he beat cancer a few years ago too. So like he's just you like to root for him. He's not a Steeler anymore. Like lots of good things here.
So yeah, so James Conner's my McNug. I know a lot of people who trusted him and kept playing him, so they got rewarded this week, and that's good. He's a man we approve of. Also, for some reason, that made me think of like Kyron Williams and how
Yeah.
he just like keeps getting the ball, and how like
So random.
I was watching like the play by play on my phone, which has that like delay on it, which can be annoying. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like looking at it, and I was like, okay, it's the end of the game. They're like within like the 5 yard line, and they just keep giving Kyron Williams the ball. And I was like, they're trying to get him a touchdown. I was like, God bless the entire Rams like organization.
Yeah. He must be on Sean McVay's fantasy team.
And then McVay makes that like fantasy joke in the press conference. And I
Yeah.
was like, yes, that's even better. So for some reason that made me think of that. Maybe just ranking guys who just become stars. But yeah, so James Conner's our McNug. Yeah, so those are our awards for this week.
And Rashad White still peeping in there. I want to say he remained in good graces enough to be here. I'd
Yeah.
promised our friend Ben that I would keep him there until he, messes up. So,
Yes.
He's got a little permanent spot on there. He's the one saying ba da ba 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 McDonald's.
So, so we have our rewards done, and we have a new sponsor who wanted to get in on the show, and so yeah, you know how this goes. We get the most creative ads. These guys are putting out great material, and
And
yeah,
they do
so
great work.
we have a nice 30-second spot here, and so check out word from the Flood Brothers.
Hello, listeners. I'm Francis, and I'm Frankie, and we are the Flood Brothers. Your basement is icky, your pipes is leaky. Flood Brothers. Your crawl space is dank, your toilet is stank. Flood Brothers. Call 222-FLOOD. That's 222-FLOOD. Flood Brothers.
All right. So thanks to Frankie and Francis Flood, who hell of a company. Like, hell of a company. Like, if you got a basement that's just filled up, and I know that's a problem up there in Ohio. I've visited, and people are
Yeah.
always complaining about their basement flooding.
Everybody, like, I don't even know what the hell the point of a basement is. Like, my wife and I bought this big, beautiful home about a year ago, and it only took 7 days. Shit flood. And then we could have really used the Flood Brothers.
I think if you had known about the Flood Brothers, you would have been in better shape.
Yeah, much better than 911 plumbing. They sucked. They had to come out 3 times. So, anyway, yeah, God bless the Flood Brothers. 5-star rating on the Better Business Bureau. Make sure you hit them up. 222 Flood.
Easy as that. So we're ready for our week 13. Is it week 13 or is it week 14? I think it's the week 14 preview.
Oh, whoops. Yep. Let's just.
You all know what we mean here. So
Hang
a week 14 preview, and so we have about 10 points to go over here. And so hopefully we hit on some things that'll help you if you're trying to make decisions on sit start and all that kind of stuff just based on our predictions. Now, we do this live. If you're watching this recorded, we do it on Tuesday evening. So injuries and things can definitely be changing by the weekend. But so the first one is Tampa Bay at Atlanta, the first place Atlanta Falcons, which is weird to say, but someone has to win that division.
Arthur Smith doesn't deserve it.
This could be bad. This could reinforce all of his poor behavior. So which is kind of one of my points, which is saw some regression back to weirdness with Arthur Smith this past week. Not getting the stars involved. Kyle Pitts, no touchdowns. Drake London, nothing. Bijan had a down week. So do you see Arthur Smith? He's hard to predict. Do you think he gets it back on track, figures his shit out, or is he just going to keep messing with it?
Oh, I hope not. I hope it's a Rashad White week for sure. I hope they can show Arthur Smith what Bijan could be if they were to just take notes. So Arthur Smith, butt cheese boy. He doesn't deserve first.
Yeah.
I don't know. He is extremely unpredictable, so you can never really count on him to do what is so logical, getting your studs the ball. And so anyway, I don't think he does, and I'll probably be right, but I could be wrong. I don't know, but he's so unpredictable. I don't even know how anyone predicts anything with Arthur Smith. I don't know how anybody determined he runs the ball a lot, because he sure as hell isn't doing that. I don't know. I haven't checked the Falcons' rushing stats this year, but I remember last year they were like tops in the league, and now they added Bijan Robinson, and you're like, all right, they're going to be first and second, but no, they're probably somewhere in the middle to the back end. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think. Oh, and F Mike Evans. I'm always against him, and he always goes off against me, and then he does nothing the weeks I don't play against him. So anyway, he did it again this week and really effed me in the A. So, but yeah, I think I don't know. I could definitely see the Bucks getting it together, and I'm not sure what their record is, but I think that they've won about half of their games, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Baker, the baby maker, he's out there. He's slinging his sperm around, just doing everything he can. Selling insurance on the side.
Touchdown!
So the next one is Detroit at Chicago, and I really emphasize the location. Oh, wait a minute. Did he shave the mustache? I didn't know he shaved the mustache.
I didn't see it.
Man, maybe people was asking a question like, is he going to shave the stash? Like,
I don't know. Is that like a thing, or I just thought he was keeping the nasty mustache all year. Crazy.
Maybe he'll be a changed man with no mustache. That's awesome.
Maybe that's where it is. Maybe that's where he got gross. He grew a gross mustache and started doing gross things, and because he was like very likable last year for what he did with that offense, but
I'd
yeah,
like to
who knows?
hold open flame up to his mustache and just burn it right off. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Is your Tank Dell candle still going strong?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we
Good
could
stuff.
like send him like a positive video. Maybe we tweet this link to the podcast at him. You know, see if we can get Tank. What's he doing? I mean, he's probably like in a hospital bed right now. He's got nothing to do.
Yeah, he probably would love our show.
We should send the link to the podcast to Tank Dell. He loves it. I don't know if he'll
We
take
could be like, hey, watch all of these videos, and you'll love each moment that you get mentioned.
He's got nothing better to do. But so Detroit at Chicago. So Goff outdoors. It's one of his last remaining outdoor games in Chicago. Wind, cold, all that stuff. So that could be a thing. Your Goff shares might take a hit this week. And then also, last time they've played, both Justin Fields and DJ Moore had great weeks. Fields with like 20-some, over 20.
Yeah.
I think DJ Moore with over 20. They both look like a good connection since Fields has come back. So do you trust DJ Moore this week? And also, what do you think about Goff playing outdoors in the cold, possibly windy condition?
I don't think he should play outdoors. He's proven he can't do it. Needs to stay home that week. They need to just start him in home games or indoors. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think I'm trusting the Fields Moore combo. Another thing to kind of look at, Detroit's defense. They'll get after you, but Justin Fields will run away from you. So I'm thinking they'll get him outside of the pocket. Maybe he'll have more of those like just on the run, deep throws down to DJ Moore. He could have, definitely a lot of rushing yards. And it's been a love-hate thing with Justin Fields. It's been very weird this year. He got hurt. He was better for it afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we're back to trusting him. I don't remember. He was off last week, I think, but he had a good showing the week before, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And anyway, yeah, that's kind of where my heart is this week. And it's the Lions. As weird as it's that, like, it's hard to bet against them, but it's a different Lions team whenever they're outside and bad weather and all that. So who knows? Maybe it becomes a big Gibbs and Montgomery game. But I'm probably fading Jared Goff if I can.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not as high on Fields as I am on Moore. I feel like I believe
Yeah,
more this week for sure. Fields maybe this week. If I had to like choose between playing Fields or Goff this week, I'd probably play Fields. Just because they're at home and Goff is
yeah.
outdoors, and he had a good game last time against them. And man, he has been allowing other teams just to score so many points. So yeah,
Points.
so it could be a good week, good week for your Bears shares, but there's no one else on the Bears you probably want to mess with. Probably just those two ones.
Yucky. Yeah.
Indy at Cincy, so it's the matchup of Minshew Magic versus Jake Browning. Did you see that video? Did you see Gardner Minshew's dance moves in the locker room?
Yeah, he was getting down, got a little soul power.
So I like this matchup. Like this could be a fun matchup between these two. Just I don't give a guys who are just like out playing some ball. The main thing I wanted to ask though is what are you supposed to do with Joe Mixon? Like if you got Joe Mixon, like give me someone you would start Joe Mixon over, and then give me someone you wouldn't start Joe Mixon.
Well, I don't like whatever happened to Joe Mixon at the end of the game last week or last night. They just quit using him. It was really weird. But I do think they are leaning a little bit on. I mean, Browning still passed it 37 times. So I don't know. I feel like toward the goal line, they might be depending on the run a little bit more. So that's good. I'm starting Christian McCaffrey over Joe Mixon. I know that. I'm trying to think someone in the same tier. Let's see.
Like, would you start Derrick Henry over Joe
Mixon? Ooh. Derrick Henry may or may not be concussed.
Let's say he's not concussed. Would you start
not concussed
Henry over Mixon? And Henry's they've got Miami.
I think I'm starting Joe Mixon.
Okay, there you go.
Because I know Tyjae Spears might be a good start this week, by the way, against Miami. So, because they are going to be down by a lot, that's guaranteed, and it's going to be on a national. The only thing keeping that Monday night is that it's the Dolphins and people want to see the Dolphins. So if it was any other team against the Titans, it would get flexed out easy. But yeah, I think, definitely, Mixon over King Henry. I'm trying to think someone else. I'd start Rashad White over Joe Mixon. Let's see, DeAndre Swift. I think I'd start Joe Mixon over DeAndre Swift.
There you go. All right.
Just because Kenneth Gainwell is weirdly involved now, Swift didn't do anything to deserve that though, so I don't understand it.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So Mixon's kind of a tricky one because,
it's one of those matchup by matchup things. I think it also comes down to player preference and. So I think it's truly like if you're on the fence between him and someone else, you're on the fence with that other guy too. So look at the matchup and kind of deal with it from there. I do like the matchup against Indy. I don't think it's a terrible one. Hopefully, I know you love that. Is it Chase Brown? That's your boy, isn't it?
Yeah. I like watching him getting a little bit of work. He's a good dynasty hold.
Yeah, and that's man, Zach Charbonnet finally got it going and then got injured. So I don't know. Kenneth Walker might be back too, though. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Joe Mixon's definitely a spot start. He's not a terrible he kind of got off to a slow start, but I think he's starting to pick it up just in time. He's not someone that you're ever really excited about, but you might start him in a spot.
Yeah. So Houston at the New York Jets. So the main question is like, how do you think it breaks down with no Dell stretching the field, putting the defense on edge? How do you think it breaks down the receiving core as far as Nico is concerned, as far as Noah Brown is concerned, Dalton Schultz, my pants, is concerned? We saw Brevin Jordan get it going. He's a pretty talented young tight end. So do you think Dell being gone brings the receiving core down overall, or like people like to think, someone's just going to get those Dell targets and run?
Yeah, I think it does bring it down a little bit. I think he definitely helped Nico out. I don't know. I'm not. I'm never gonna start like a Robert Woods or something. But obviously the guys now are Nico Collins and Noah Brown. So, um, and we've seen Noah Brown randomly go off, and I kind of liked him whenever he was in Dallas. I was like, keep giving this guy the ball. Like he was a good. All your receivers are injured. Plug in Noah Brown. He'll do something. So, um, I mean, I don't know. This is a hard matchup to try to gauge because the Jets' defense is really good. Unfortunately for the Jets, their offense is terrible, and kind of you almost don't even want to trot an offense out there and see if you do any better, and like just depend on the defense and only play one side. But yeah, I mean, Jets defense is good. They're just always gassed. So I don't know. It's yeah, one of those things where I do think Houston still shows up and everything, but I think it's one of those maybe lower scoring kind of games. I do think that receiving core is still very good, but at the same time, it will be brought down a notch without our boy Tank Dell.
I think that Nico's going to have Sauce Gardner on him.
Yeah.
So I think you got to watch those practice reports last week. Noah Brown didn't put up an actual practice. He did like a limited practice, and then he doesn't practice at all. And then he like goes out and is like 0 for 2 on targets and for 0 points. So if he could get like a few like limited practices and then like maybe a full practice, I feel like he could benefit this week with Sauce on Nico. Noah Brown could get some of those targets and maybe have a really great game. But if he's still not anywhere near healthy and he's just forcing himself out on the field, then I don't think he's worth starting. You maybe just take chances with Nico and just, hey, Nico's talented enough. They can throw it Sauce and Nico could do something with it.
Yeah.
I think if you're a Nico owner, you got to play Nico just because you're going to be pissed off if you don't. Something bad happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nico will. Maybe they move him around, get Sauce off of him a little bit. Maybe there's a little pick action or something. He's kind of their only real weapon. I mean, Noah Brown's cute, but like Nico Collins is him. So, I think they got to try to get him the ball. CJ will find him too. I think CJ Stroud is just such a good young quarterback. I really wanted the Titans to get him draft night, and I think I heard rumors that they were trying to trade up to 2 to get him, but they just didn't offer enough or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have Will Levis, so we got the Mayo Man. Everything's okay.
Mayo Man. So we got the LA Rams at Baltimore. And so maybe no Puka, depending on how he recovers from his little scrape that he had. I think this one's kind of a funky one. How do you see the game flow or the game script playing out? Is this a Lamar Jackson like 0 throwing touchdowns, but he's running all over the field kind of game? Is this a Gus Bus game? How do you think this will play out?
I think it's going to be a Ravens dominate kind of game. And I wrote the Rams off last week, but I shouldn't have. But I'm going to double down on it and I don't know. Baltimore is playing really well. They're coming off of a bye. They just I don't know. They looked really good the last time we saw them, and they do tend to rise up in these types of games. Puka Nakua, I benched him about everywhere I could, and that didn't work out. But also, like, he had a 70-yard touchdown. He never scores a 70-yard touchdown. He never scores touchdowns. He's more of a receptions and yards kind of guy. So, he's usually good for a couple of them 20-yarders. But if he gets a touchdown, it's like a 3-yard touchdown. So that felt like kind of an outlier, but really proved me wrong on Puka for the week. And I don't know, he might be someone that I trade away in Dynasty in the offseason. I don't know. Like, I don't, like, he's been great, and I think you can sell him high. Like, you hope he does well the rest of the season. Sell him high as a wide receiver one and get something that you really like or really need out of it. Which seems very weird to say. But he's just, I don't see him as a fast receiver. I don't see him as a skillful receiver. I think he's just kind of been in the right place at the right time. And we love Puka here. Puka chews electric. But he doesn't have that receiver talent that like your other wide receiver ones have. And you can kind of see whenever you watch the games with him. So it's one of those things where it's just something's a little off with Puka. He's got a strange name. He plays a little bit strange. I don't know. Do you ever see any of that with him and start thinking like, maybe I don't know, maybe he's not the greatest long-term asset. I don't know. That's kind of a random feeling I've been getting lately.
I'm not worried about his talent so much as I'm just worried about his quarterback situation.
Oh yeah.
Long
He's
term,
not quarterback proof. Yeah.
And like long term, the Rams are turning over their quarterback here soon. Stafford can say what he wants to say about longevity, but like that's turning over here soon. And
I almost drank the candle.
And there's no guarantee that's going to be a smooth transition into like their next franchise quarterback, and they could draft a dud or whatever, and now Puka's big trouble. So I think if he's a dynasty asset and you can get something for him, probably make that move, and I don't think you'll regret it if you do.
Yeah. Like that might be something that I look at in our dynasty league where I don't have a first rounder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet
it kind of makes sense in that league. So
yeah,
I might approach somebody with that, and it's going to depend on how the draft falls. I'll probably try and make that move closer to draft time, but yeah, definitely something to look at because I don't have a first rounder, and that's the one where I put up all them points but didn't win the games. So sometimes you just got to shake it up whenever your team's just not getting the W's. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be definitely Lamar Jackson's going to get his. I don't know if it's going to be on the ground or in the air or both, but I think they're just going to dominate the Rams.
Yeah, that defense. People forget that Baltimore defense has been pretty good. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They can expose the Rams, but
big time.
Give Kyron Williams the ball. Let's just get him the ball.
Get him the ball for Vinny.
Love that guy. I love a good waiver wire pickup that just works out.
It's the best.
So Buffalo at Kansas City. So Buffalo is truly in playoff mode. I don't think Buffalo can lose another football game and make the playoffs. They're in
aren't they like 500?
Yeah. So I think that can be good for your Buffalo situation because usually this time of year they're kind of cruising. They're just trying to lock up number one seed. So fantasy implications is good. Now they're playing, as hard as they can, no screwing around.
And maybe that's what happened to Stephon Diggs the last couple years, where he came up small in the fantasy playoffs because they were just trying to cruise, get through to the end of the year. But now he's got to put up.
Yeah. So I think all their players have to do their thing. But it's KC, whose defense is, pretty good, been all right. And also, it's just those two teams. I feel like those two teams are really. Whereas Baltimore, LA, that could be a high flying game, but it also could just be Baltimore dominated. So I feel like this one is going to be pretty high scoring, and usually that doesn't add up when it looks high scoring. I think it's going to be low scoring. This one just looks high scoring to me. I just see this happening. The Chiefs have also been trying to run the ball more, which is good football wise, but
I think Buffalo is going to dominate KC.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they might win by a touchdown or more.
Yeah.
Just Kansas City hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, they just lost to who did they just lose to? Was it
Oh, blanking.
yeah. I don't know. I know Mahomes didn't do shit. Like
Right.
I forget. I know it was just 2 days ago, but
I know. A lot happens.
yeah.
Green Bay. Lost to Green Bay.
Yeah, and like Green Bay, like I don't know, they had it pretty much in control from the beginning. So
Yeah.
it like I don't know, Buffalo's way better than Green Bay from like a offensive standpoint at least. So yeah, I mean, I think I think Buffalo definitely puts up more points, and I don't know, I could see them winning by a touchdown or more. And it feels very weird starting to bet against Mahomes because I always said I'd never do that, but his receiving core's never been this shit. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
changes things a bit.
He's having to do too much these days, and like you can tell he's
Yeah,
frustrated. And maybe maybe Kelsey's slowing down a little bit, or teams are just figuring out, hey, if we just blanket Kelsey and contain him, there's really no one else who can challenge us. And Buffalo's defense is pretty good. So yeah, your KC shares are dipping at the wrong time going into the
yep,
playoffs. If you're a Pacheco owner, you're probably happy. If you're a Kelsey owner, you're happy. But if you're a Mahomes owner, you're probably not very happy going into your fantasy playoffs.
yeah.
Not
And
looking
if
strong.
and if you do have too many Kansas City shares, you can change that by going to Underdog
Oh,
Fantasy, use code Fifth Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. So if you put in $50, it'll make it $100. I don't even know if they're still running the same promotion. We haven't changed it, but make sure that you bet all that money over at Underdog Fantasy. Get yourself a handful of checks mix.
so Philadelphia, Dallas. Um, this was a really high scoring matchup last time they played each other. And so I hope it's the same way. This is going to be indoors at Dallas. Dallas plays well indoors. Dallas lost last time. And so Philly with the slow starts. So we're talking like 3, 4-ish games in a row starting really slow.
Yeah,
And it finally bit them in the ass this time around
yeah,
because they couldn't dig out of that hole. Um, Man, last time it was close. I think if they come out like that, this Dallas defense is ready,
yeah.
and like it could go the wrong way. So Philly might be slumping at the wrong time because they have like started out so slow in multiple games.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, I mean CD Lamb, he's playing at a Tyreek Hill kind of level, just about. And that's been really awesome to watch. Yeah, Philly, I mean, Jalen Hurts, that's the quarterback you want, especially if he's gonna start out kind of slow, like throwing it a lot. They don't even use DeAndre Swift anymore. So it's just such a good you know advantage to have at quarterback whenever you have the guy that's already super talented and he's going to be down. Like you love that. It's kind of like we had the Lions last year. That was great because their defense sucked. They gave up a lot of points. They were always throwing it, so that was awesome. I think it'll be a good game. Definitely high scoring again. I know Dallas or Micah Parsons. He seems like one of those guys that like has revenge on his mind all the time, like with that Eagles team. So yeah, I think Dallas bests them again, or for the first or did I forget who won?
Yeah, the Eagles got them by like 3 last time. So,
Oh, okay. I think maybe the Cowboys get them by 3 this time.
okay.
Get them at home. Cowboys are better at home, I think, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, tons better. And so I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely how I think it'll go. Brandon Cook's becoming a thing. That's
Right.
been kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be interesting with Brandon Cooks because they need someone else you know, they need another fantasy asset in the receiving core because tight end, you're not sure if it's going to be Schoonmaker, Shipbuilder, Fergie, Fergie
Shit
Ferguson.
builder.
And so hopefully Pollard keeps it rolling. He's been
Yeah.
looking good the past couple weeks. So I think really, we got to see AJ Brown get going. He's having another one of those slumps like he did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs to yell at Jalen Hurts again or get in a fight on the sidelines, but basically, ever since that was it? I think it was the Chiefs game or something like that. But anyways, he's been kind of down the past few weeks. I don't own any AJ Brown, but I would be
You're
frustrated.
a Smith guy. Yeah.
Smith guy. He's cheaper,
That's been
and
good.
you get all the AJ Brown points, but you don't have to pay as much. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they need AJ Brown to get going, especially fantasy playoff time. So even if it
Big
doesn't benefit me, that needs to happen. Tennessee at Miami. So we talked a little bit about this a minute ago, but I think kind of what you were hinting at. I think Derrick Henry gets game scripted out of this matchup because they're going to be so far behind, and possibly Tajay Spears is the play this week.
Yeah, I think I know one league, that league that I'm tied for first but don't have a lot of points. It's because I don't have a lot of running backs. I have Tony Pollard, and that's really it. And then I've just been plugging in a body. So Tajay Spears is someone who's been on my team the whole time, and I think it might be the week to bring him out. Not because the Titans are going to do well, but because the Titans are going to do bad, and he's going to be busy. So or should be busy. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I think Tajay Spears is a good play. DeAndre Hopkins is a good play. He's starting to prove kind of consistent since Will Levis has taken over, so that's been good. Yeah, still impressed with Will Levis, even though he doesn't win a lot. But it's been that's probably a good thing for this franchise. Get a better draft pick. I don't want to see us give too much effort and win games. It's I think it's good to see us losing and improving that draft stock. So yeah, Miami, Tyreek Hill. So one thing, what's scary about Tyreek Hill is he does all the work in one half in a lot of these games. He'll have I don't know, 7 and 152 and a touchdown by halftime, and then he might not have another catch all day because they don't need him. So I'd love to see him get 300 yards in a full game and all that, but I think it's one of those Tyreek Hill gets you 30 points in the first half and then you don't see much of him. So and he's still out there he's but he's just running some cardio. They don't no need to really I don't know, but then he'll have a random 50-yard catch and get you another 5-6 points. So anyway, I think and I don't know, I don't even know if you can depend on Jalen Waddle anymore. He's been super underwhelming. I don't know. I don't have any shares of him, so I don't know how bad it's actually been, but it doesn't seem like it's been that great.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough for the Waddle owners. Tyreek owners are happy. Even Achane owners were freaking out a little bit this past week because it didn't seem like he was going to do much, and then he kind of on in garbage time. I think they're going to really reserve him, not for heavy workloads. They're really holding him for the playoffs. He's going to be their magic in the playoffs. So you really want Miami to get up on these teams because if you got Achane, I don't know if you'll see Achane unless they're up. They're not going to give him the Mostert between the tackles, get beat the hell up kind of carries because they need pressure the playoffs. My only hope for the Titans and Derrick Henry is I just think about those Chiefs matchups back when the Chiefs were super explosive. But the Titans
they would slow him down by running Derrick Henry.
Control the game because they could just run Henry down their throat. I haven't kept up with Miami's run defense this year, but if Henry can move the ball, okay, they might have that situation where they just slow the whole thing down. So I'm going to play Henry where I have Henry just because I'm going to live and die with the king just because I don't want to be pissed off if I put him on my bench.
And you're in a win and you're in playoff situation.
So trust the people who got you there. I'm in my win and my end because of Derrick Henry. So he's going to get the start this week. And I just hope he has that slow them down like they did against the Chiefs all those classic years. So last matchup is Green Bay at the New York Giants. Danny DeVito. So really not going to.
It's Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito. Everyone thinks Danny
DeVito. Isn't he the short guy, the dad from Matilda?
Yeah, heck yeah. He's the man.
Danny DeVito at quarterback. Moby what?
Yes. But so Green Bay's coming on. Christian Watson is out. But you got Dobbs, you got Dubs, Dontavian Wicks, and Jordan Love.
Jaden Reed, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah. He's probably not on any waiver wires, but if you were able to grab him up and he's playing without Watson and with them, if Love wasn't playing so well, I think we would only be talking about Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah.
But with Love playing so well, I think it's possible that Wicks hits or Jalen hits, but I think your most confident play is probably Romeo Dobbs, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And he doesn't do a lot. Like I really expected him to be a lot more involved, but you're definitely not disappointed in what he's done. He's like a touchdown machine. Almost every game it seems like he's in the end zone, even if it's his only catch, and you'll take that. Like for some reason those 8 points look a lot better than if somebody got like 4 for 40. You're talking Hillshire shit the bed, all that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, love Romeo W's, especially this week. I think maybe he's a little bit more involved. Also, Tommy DeVito, he gets that team going. Like they could remain competitive in this game, which could be a shootout, and it's not really a defense that you fear. So, I think this could be like a really good game for fantasy in a weird way. At first, I was thinking just on the Green Bay side, but then I remember MVP candidate Tommy DeVito's playing on the other side. So you got a nice back and forth.
Yeah. I'm going to trot Dobbs out there in the leagues where I have him because I just see a lot of opportunity here.
Yeah.
With the game flow and the shitty defense on the Giants side, and Love playing well. Dobbs might be more explosive and exciting, like his crappy brother Christian Watson who died on the field this past week.
His crappy brother.
I like it when people get hurt and we're just like, yeah, they died.
Yeah, over. I know a few people who that's kind of how we talk about the injured and the ailing. But yeah, that's I'm looking forward to that matchup. So, did you have any other points or anything like that?
No, that was it. That is
right.
all.
So one thing, I don't know. I think it'd be. I didn't make a little thing for it, but I guess. Do you have any tips for anybody going into playoffs? Any preparation that they should do with their rosters, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we've been seeing it, but I think you really got to evaluate your bench.
Oh yeah.
You might like, oh, we're good. We've been looking good all year. But Trevor Lawrence going down, Tank Dell going down. It's the end of the year. Like, get that bench going. Look ahead. Try to do some predictions. I'm trying to get some guys right now. Hopefully tomorrow morning, I get them and they cost me nothing. Because other people might be like, oh, why'd you want Gardner Minshew? And it's like, yeah, but if someone goes down, wouldn't you love to have Gardner Minshew instead of Tim Boyle? So that could be the difference between you staying in the playoffs and you leaving the playoffs. So I think really right now it's just evaluating your bench. If you're a playoff team, if you're a first seed team, you're a good squad, but you could be a shit squad with a few key injuries. Bench evaluating is crucial right now.
Yeah, and you can kind of put the nail in the coffin on some of those, 5th, 6th seeds that, they're more dependent on those waiver wire guys, whereas you're just bulking up that bench, and you're also blocking them from getting good players. So that's definitely a good point. I think it's now more than ever an important time to be cuffing your running backs. If that handcuff is out there, that Tajay Spears, who we told you to get a long time ago, this is why you have him. For Derrick Henry, maybe hurt, maybe not, but it would be good to have Tajay Spears. We went over a lot of running back cuffs at the beginning of the year, and this is like the reason why you want them. So it is injury season too. So also like just cutting that dead weight. Like I don't know if you have, here's one thing: if you're one of those teams that has a bye week, look ahead a week and go ahead and pick that defense if you're streaming defense kicker, like your bye week doesn't matter. So go ahead and look forward one week, because other teams don't have that luxury to do so because they're trying to win this week. So like example, like I have the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, somehow pick them up, and they have like a really favorable playoff schedule. So made sure I got them because I think they're playing a lot of teams that have injured quarterbacks. So they're going against those second string quarterbacks, and they got that defense. We saw what they did to Will Levis. They just get after them. So I mean, situations like that, cut dead weight. If you have two kickers, get rid of one. Like, basic stuff, like stuff that you should have never had going on anyway. Now it's time to kind of clean up those rosters a little bit and just get them in optimal shape. And anyway, I think that's the best thing that you can do right now leading into the playoffs.
So, good luck to everyone in their fantasy playoffs. May you make the playoffs. May you spoil someone's dreams of making the playoffs. Like, keep playing because you might piss someone off by beating them. And that's fun too. Like, I love someone being like, you piece of shit. You were 10th and you beat me, and now I'm not going to the playoffs. And I'm like, yes.
You got to earn, son. Yeah. It's like, I'm not some shitty 10th place team. I should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, like, keep playing the game because it's more fun that way. So
yeah, Joe did something really cool in the league where he's clearly tanking. He told me, like, he put in a shitty lineup and they scored 130. So, like, he almost won, which would have really helped me still stay alive. And I was like, hey, thanks for doing that. And he's like, oh, I wasn't trying to do that. I'm still tanking. But he had gotten to a point where he secured that number one pick. So, so now you might see him try a little bit just for pride at the end. But anyway, he wasn't even trying to. They just had a good week.
So good luck, everyone. And what are those 5 things people need to do?
Live, laugh, love, like, subscribe. Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. Rest in peace, Jake.